Honestly, really wild chart. You can see the volume is starting to decrease as price is increasing, which tends to not be the greatest sign. So definitely be sure to watch this. Maybe not the time to dive into it right this second. You might want to wait for a little bit of a pullback, just because we are into a big resistance zone. We do have volume kind of decreasing here. So what we'd like to see is this to have a little bit of a pullback, and then it can be consolidate for a bit and have a really, really awesome run.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Wag Me TV. Me and Armada are back this week. We're bringing you an awesome episode today, talking about a trending L2. We're going to be talking about METIS, which is MetisDao. Ticker is METIS. The coin's been on an absolute tear here in the last month or so, up about 4 to 5, maybe even 6x from only about 30 days ago. Metis is a layer 2 blockchain built on top of Ethereum, and one that really, really broke out late in the last bull run and is now making a huge comeback, and one to absolutely keep your eye on. So we're going to go straight to the chart. We're going to see kind of what the coin is doing and look at some key levels on the technical side of things, and then we're going to jump in and give you guys where this thing could be headed in the bull run that's coming up. Mata, take it away.
Awesome. Yeah, let me share my screen really quickly. And while I'm doing that, just wanted to, of course, allude to that this is not financial advice. Of course, do your own research on all of this. Just wanted to bring y'all's attention to it, whether it's for now or whether it's for later down the road, when you're looking into kind of some coins to look into for the bull market. So let's get into it. This is kind of what I'm seeing. In yellow, we have some of these long-term trend lines. And then, of course, we have the kind of horizontal blue resistance and support zones. So this is the all-time chart. You can see we're about 50% off of all-time highs, which is really interesting to see. I haven't run a fib on this yet, but I would bet we stalled out right around that 50% mark, which is typical of what you see when a coin is retracing at this point. So now that you kind of seen where some of these levels come from, obviously in the last, really since the end of November, we've had a pretty massive pump, upwards of in the 600s, almost up to 700%, really over the last couple months, which is pretty insane. You saw it make this crazy move. And it blasted right past this resistance zone, which is awesome. And then came back and kind of retested this and kind of stayed in this zone for a while, really consolidating right in that kind of resistance range, really starting to establish that as support, which is really awesome. You saw it establish that, almost had a little bit of a double bottom here and then shot up here again. As you can see, we have this long-term trend line all the way from some of the lows, actually the all-time low, that passed really nicely through the high back in August of 22. And then you can see it kind of stalled out right at that point as well. What we do have is another point of confluence in this blue support or resistance line that we're kind of looking at as well. So they've got a lot of resistance right here. So what you really want to see from Metis is to get up and over this and then really stand on top of it and turn that into support, much like it did down here on this resistance zone as well. So honestly, really wild chart. You can see the volume is starting to decrease as price is increasing, which tends to not be the greatest sign. So definitely be sure to watch this. Maybe not the time to dive into it right this second. You might want to wait for a little bit of a pullback, just because we are into a big resistance zone. We do have volume kind of decreasing here. So what we'd like to see is this to have a little bit of a pullback, and then it can be consolidate for a bit and have a really, really awesome run. I know what we wanted to talk about was, where could this potentially be going on the upside, right? We don't want to be completely bearish when we're looking at this chart. So what we did was actually found from that same place, from the all-time lows through some of these other lows, we established a really nice trend line. So as we went through this, right, we kind of hit this 1, 2, 3, and then even 4 times and broke through it on the 4th time. What we typically see is these trend lines, these coins and the price action typically comes back and what we say retrace to the scene of the crime. So what would be really interesting to see from a really, really awesome upside play is to see this come back and retest this trend line, at least on the low side, which would really come in line with some of these all-time highs and maybe even higher. So when you're thinking about, maybe the next bull run, you could be looking at a solid 200% from where we're at today, pretty easily. So that's all I have on the chart, but super interesting one. It's been a really crazy one lately. So
Yeah, that's awesome, and definitely a lot to be excited there on the chart. Honestly, the pump, when you're looking at the chart, the pump could take a few people off guard, like people who haven't necessarily been paying attention to the project or paying attention to the broader market. But what you find is, when you actually look at the comparables to Metis, obviously, as mentioned before, it's an L2 blockchain built on top of Ethereum. Um, and what you see is it's actually quite undervalued when compared to other L2s. And so one thing, I want to show you guys is this page right here, which basically shows a variety of different L2s on CoinMarketCap. And what you'll be able to see here is, and I really do think this plays a lot into why this run has just been so steep and so fast, is because if you look at like all the L2 solutions, right? Most people know, Polygon, Optimism, Arbitrum, Immutable, Mantle, some of these guys, and you look at the market caps here, and a lot of the comparable ones, I would say probably the most comparable ones to Metis are probably Optimism and Arbitrum. And those are both sitting in the almost $3 billion market cap range, right? And you come down here and you look at Metis, which isn't that far behind in terms of ranking, but you look at the market cap here and it's sitting at only $500 million market cap. And so really, I think, it's the market kind of waking up to, oh, wow, like one of these has to be mispriced. And like Metis should, in theory, catch up from a valuation standpoint to narrow the gap between where it is right now and kind of the main competitors of Arbitrum and Optimism. Now you take that and you extrapolate it, and even if Metis was to achieve a fraction of Optimism, you're still looking at multiples on the coin. So I think that's really part of the reason why kind of the market is waking up to Metis. Obviously, their team has been hard at work and building through the bear market too, so that obviously plays a role. But yeah, all of those things kind of coming together in a perfect storm here for Metis. So definitely one to keep track of. And an exciting coin that we'll kind of be keeping tabs on and giving you guys updates. So that's pretty much all we have for you guys today. If you guys are fans of Metis, definitely make sure to leave us a comment. Let us know what you think. Let us know where you think the coin is gonna go here in the next bull run. And yeah, we'll be here keeping track, keeping all the updates for you guys. So till next time, we'll see you later on WagMe TV.